Hello, everyone, and I'll quickly get into it. Firstly, I'd like to thank Frederick and Carl for inviting me up here. My name's David Robertson. I'm the Director for Transport and Routing Engineering from Telstra, and I look after the core of Telstra's network. So just to give you a bit of context of who and who's Telstra. Telstra is the largest service provider. We're the incumbent in Australia, so we actually own over 50% of the mobile market, which is around about 17.4 million services. We own over 50% of the fixed broadband market, which is about 4 million. And we own about 65% of the enterprise market. So we actually have cornered most parts of the environment. We are a global company and we are present in many other countries. And we have the most fibre in the sea around Asia. So that's the size and scale of what we do. Roughly, just for the Swedes, our country's about 4,000 kilometres that way, and it's about 4,000 kilometres that way. So it's a fair amount of distance we have to travel.
How many Sweden is that?
It's a few. But anyway, look, I mean, everyone knows the paradigm they're in, but I just want to talk about, over the next 5 years, we know the traffic levels are going to grow, and we expect it to grow by 5 times. So by 2021, we need 5 times the infrastructure that we have today. That means we've got to go through a fair amount of build program to achieve those type of things, and how we go about it needs to change. We can't continue to do it in the manner that we do, and the OPEX and capital pressures we're under. We need to find automation and those type of things to bring them forward. But let me just talk to you about where I am and where my brain is. I sit here in front of you today, or stand here. Last year we had a very ordinary year. We had significant outages. We had 4 outages in our mobile network, 2 in prepaid, 2 in postpaid. We had a significant outage in our ADSL network, or the fixed broadband network, that lasted a long period of time. And then we decided on the last day of the financial year, when everyone was trying to close their books, to have a large outage on the enterprise area. So we didn't feel well, and what we actually got out of that was that we needed to make sure that we controlled the risk that we were carrying inside our environment. And then we went through and said, okay, we need to spend some money. So up on this slide, it's just $3 billion is just a nebulous amount of money, but I'm not sort of trying to push that down to you. What it meant was we had to spend some money to retrofit where we'd been. So we had to fix up some of the issues that we had in our existing network. Then we want to spend a lot of money to make sure it's easier for the customers to work with us, okay? And then the last piece is we want to build the network for the future. And for the reason for taking you through why we're spending that, we can't achieve any of those things unless we find new ways of working. Unless the telco pivots and allows for new systems and tools to come in to allow them to build an environment that the digitalisation part can take heed of the network for the future. So that's just for context, we spend $4 billion on any given year in our environment. This is adding an additional $1 billion, so over a 3-year period, we'll spend $15 billion instead of 12. So what are we going to invest in? And I'll just take a little bit of time just to walk you through it. We, as we're the leader in the mobile network, we work very closely with Ericsson, and I've been speaking to them while I've been up here. We continue to look towards 5G, Internet of Things, and still make mobile our premium service. We see it as the enabler for the future, and all the services that we build on will have a combination of whatever we can do from a fixed environment, but mobiles will be a premium sitting behind it. The one on the bottom right-hand corner there, it's about NBN. We have a government organisation which is putting a fibre access out there, so we actually are handing over our copper assets to the government. So I won't go into much more on that. And then we talk about the network resilience. And for the last 12 months after all those outages, we've been spending a fair amount of time building our network, checking in and validating our architecture, even checking ourselves on how we actually build environments and rebuilding them to be suitable for the future. And that makes it really easy now that we sort of got a bit of an insight on why we need to build the network for the future. How can we scale and size to the manner that we need? So we know that SDN is going to be leading, programmable networks, Carl, you spoke about that. And then we keep going around, what are we going to do with automation? So one of the things that Telstra markets itself now and into the global environment is we want to create a Telstra programmable network. So we've gone to market saying that. But that's where the investment will go. But how do we then think about how we would accelerate a software environment? So we look up here and we go, okay, we need to make the network simpler. And we need to bring automation as we make the network simpler at the time you're doing it, not as a secondary piece. So in that piece where we look at network for the future, we have created streams of work that look at all the fundamental areas that you need to work on. And two of the fundamental areas we think that are most important at the moment is around domain management and then automation and orchestration. So we've looked towards NSO, and I was lucky enough to come through in October to catch up with Carl and Frederick. When we were in trouble and we were trying to work out how do we stop our network falling down, many of the issues were created by ourselves. Staff putting devices in when they shouldn't have, staff pulling down the wrong config and then trying to fix it on the fly. So we had a series of things that just kept beating us up during those outages. So when we were here, we were talking about the experience of when I looked towards the IP domain manager, especially within the environments that are most important, the enterprise first, we looked to use NSO to help solve the issue. NSO provided us the opportunity to get the people out of the way and enable the people that are actually doing the work to do it quicker. Was it an easy journey? Brownfields is always a hard journey. So all of you, if you've got a network, just get rid of it all and bring something new in and it'll make it easier. So to find 10 to 15 years of legacy architectures and legacy configs and then build it into an NSO and Yang modelling took the guys some significant time. We did use AS services and I think that was an important piece for us. But I have to admit, we did lean on Carl and Frederick and the team on many occasions when we found that we needed help. And we were surprised, to be honest, on the authenticity and the depth of capability of the people and how quickly they responded. So I do appreciate that. And why was it important for me? I needed to keep my job. So from that perspective, it was really important. And what we were able to do is now that enterprise network and the outage that was caused on the last financial day of the year can never occur again. Can never occur again. So I stand here feeling far better that my infrastructure is in a great place, but we will build our future networks continuing to use software capability. I won't take you through this in respect to time because I want to go on to a couple of other things, but obviously you understand the big headers. I think it's worthwhile putting up so you read the headers. It's been filmed so you can sort of read the detail below later. But this is what I wanted to talk about. For us, we're a company that is grounded in 100 years of history, over 100 years of history. And we come to pivot points, uncomfortable, we come to pivot points all the time and we learn new ways of working, we bring new infrastructure and equipment in. So talking about myself, I've travelled a journey of over 32 years where I actually did work on mechanical PSTN switches. And I've taken each step. The only problem is they're getting faster and I can't keep up with it as much as I used to. So we need to bring the next generation of people along with us. So this is what this is about. We refer to one of the streams in our future ways of working as of networks of the future. It's called future ways of working. And what we've teased out of that of some of the more strategic things that we're going to build in our network Evolution 2020 or the Networks for the Future, we have picked out these key components that we see we've got to build both capability and muscle within ourselves, but also bring people in to assist us to achieve that outcome. We refer to it as a lighthouse program. Shine a light on it, get people to pay attention to it, and what then happens is you start to make some momentum. So really what this is trying to demonstrate here is we needed to build a team. So when we built the first one in the enterprise space, we're using the model of how we actually brought them together, whether we use the words agile, whether we use the words DevOps. Yeah, I mean, they're fine. But we just brought a team together, we gave them a problem, and we gave them the tools and the capability to get to the outcome. What we want to do is replicate that, and we need to replicate it fast. You know, I've got lots of different domains, and I want to get NSO into all my domains. And then we need to, if I can do that, then I can actually start to create the programmable network that I'm telling the market that we're going to do. And we're actually using our partners with Cisco, using their advanced services, but we're also trying to go into, and I had a conversation with Frederick in October, we also want some of the other people that provide us professional services to have the skill and capability. We don't want everyone to be an expert. We may want 4 or 5 people to come, or say we have a team of 10, maybe it's good having 1 or 2 experts in there, but we do need some workforce. We do need some cattle to sort of make the program work correctly, or to push out the workload, sorry. So we're actually teaming up with some other professional services, and we're actually asking, you know, TLF and NSO to actually make sure that they provide the training to those areas so they can exploit it globally. We use many third parties to help us achieve outcomes, and the amount of capability we're seeing in those companies with software, it is making it easier for us to build teams very quickly and then replicate them on and on and on again. What that means is, you know, we have to certainly look at making sure that we put the right experts in, analysts, architects, people that understand change management, and certainly bringing the engineers. Now we'll provide them the opportunity for all the tools and support systems, whether it's GitHub and all those type of things. So what do I do now? What does it sort of mean to me now? So in Q1, we would normally have 1 team running. So we're going to run 3 teams in Q1. We'll add another 3 teams in Q2, another 3 in Q4, and another 3 in Q3 and then Q4. What it just means is, guys, we're just going to develop a huge amount of people within our organisation to achieve the outcome. We do see automation as the only pathway forward. And at the moment, you know, we're looking to partner with Cisco and TLF to at least achieve the robustness and the resilience I need to keep my job. Anyway, what do I ask? Look, I think we need to shorten the learning curve, need to proliferate the skills, and you know, this is the first user group. Congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to Renee pulling together. But let's make it regular and let's keep the cadence up. Thanks.